God is so good. Trouble won't throw me, won't break me, won't scare me no more. That's right. Fear must have thought I was faithless when it came for my heart. 'Cause I got a song that'll never die. I know your love is the reason why I sing the night into the morning. I'll sing the fear into your praise. I'll sing my soul into your presence whenever I say your name. So let the devil know not today. Took up that cross. Tell me, did the darkness cry mercy as you roll back that roar? 'Cause I know your love is the life in mine. I know your love is the reason why I sing the night into the morning. I'll sing the fear into your praise. I'll sing the soul into your presence whenever I say your name. Jesus, let the devil know not today. Whenever I say your name, Jesus, let the devil know not today. No, no, not ever again. Come on and sing this with me. Your love stood down death, crushed the devil's head. Fear is just a liar running out of breath. The fight beneath your feet, I'm standing on Jesus' name. So let the devil know not today. Let the devil know not today. No, 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 never, never again. Not today, not today, not today. I'll sing the night into the morning. I'll sing the fear into your praise. I'll sing my soul into your presence whenever I say your name. Jesus, let the devil know not today. Let the devil know not today. No, no, not ever again. Let the devil know not today, not today, not today. Let the devil know not today. Yeah.
Can I get a not today? Somebody, can I get a not today? One more time, can I get a not today? Can I get a not today? Sorry, I was just trying to have a little fun. Hey, we're gonna sing one more song together. But before we do, I'd like to just take a quick moment to tell you guys something that maybe many of you have heard me say before. And it's this: you have to be the ones to sing these songs. I know it isn't fair. I know it would just be much easier to sit back and relax and consume and listen, but you gotta be the ones to sing these songs. And here's why, students. It's because it's not until you sing these songs that they become real to you. It's not until you move into these lyrics that they begin to change your life, because you see, your speech and your song communicates what it is you believe, and your belief produces fruit and a full life. We sing what we believe to be true here. So, wherever you're at in this room, if you can hear my voice, and more importantly, if you hear what it is I'm saying, if you're holding on to hesitancy that's keeping you from singing these songs, let it go. It's not worth foregoing the full life that Jesus came to give you. And singing these songs is a good way to express that belief in a God who created us. So, as we sing this song together, it's a new song. Now, I know it's gonna take a minute to catch up with, but I know you'll get it. It's a really simple melody. And all I ask is that when you do, you'd sing. Because we sing what we believe to be true. Let's do it.
Can't wait to hear you guys sing. Why should I worry what tomorrow brings, and place my hope in temporary things? If all that I'm holding were to slip away, still I'm held by one whose name will never fade. Here it goes. If all I have is Jesus, I have all I need. If all I have is Jesus, I have everything. You guys think you got it? Here in your presence, there is always peace that surpasses all I know and all I see. You are my treasure, worth more to me than the riches of this world could ever bring. If all I have is Jesus, I have all I need. If all I have is Jesus, I have everything. There's nothing else, no better thing. You're all I want, you're all I need. There's nothing else, no better thing. You're all I want, you're all I need. Jesus, you're all I need. If all I have is Jesus, I have all I need. If all I have is Jesus, I have everything. You guys did great. I love hearing you sing that. I know it's so true, and if we actually live like those words are real, I know that our lives will change every day. All right, you can go have a seat.
Hey, so I just recently got a lifetime fitness membership, and I honestly feel like I didn't need to tell you that because you could probably tell by looking at me. Like, I'm like, man, does he look skinnier? Does he look like he's been really working out? And thank you that you noticed. But honestly, my favorite thing about having a Lifetime Fitness membership is just knowing that I'm better than you. Like, isn't it awesome? The superiority complex that comes with being a part of that gym, it's incredible. I love it. It's like giving me a high right now just thinking about it. My wife recently, she came to me and she said, Jake, I think I want to maybe start going myself and I want to bring all our kids. And so she starts asking me questions. And she said, hey, have you looked at the childcare area of Lifetime? And I was like, they have a child care area? She's like, yeah, I think they do. Like, have you looked at all the pools? I'm like, well, there's a pool outside. And she's like, no, I looked online. There's pools inside. I was like, no, I don't know. There's a whole level. There's a whole floor there with classes. You can do bar classes, Pilates. And I was like, Bree, to be honest, I just show up, I walk into the locker room, I do that weird little combo thing they got on the locks. I go up the 3 floors, I hit that old man elliptical for 15 minutes, hit some cable weights, and then I walk out and leave. And my wife is staring at me. She's just appalled. She's like, you're paying for the bougiest weight place in the entire world, and you just go there to use the elliptical? Like, have you not got a whole tour? Do you not understand all this place has to offer? And it's silly that I show up and just do this very little thing, but I think in reality, a lot of us Christians treat Jesus the same way that I treat Lifetime Fitness. Man, we show up and we have access to the literal God of the universe who lived in heaven and had to come down and be a man on this earth. He had to be a human like you, and being a human sucks. And he was here and he did that, and he did it perfectly. And then he got up on a cross and he died so that you and I could have grace that we have no business deserving. And yet for a lot of us, we show up on Sunday nights and this is the 1 hour we access Jesus. We show up and we bring him into our life for this short little sliver of time. And I think Jesus is looking at you and he's looking at me and he's saying, man, you're missing out. You're missing out on all I have to offer if you just brought me into your Monday and your Tuesday and your Wednesday. If you woke up in the morning and you spent time with me in the Bible. If you changed the music you listen to, if you spent time listening to worship music on the way to work, your day would be different. We're going to take communion here in a second. And my encouragement to you is just this. What could you do this week to make sure that Jesus was in your life more than just this 1 hour? How could you make sure that you're not treating Jesus like Jake's treating Lifetime Fitness? Let me pray for us and we'll take communion. Heavenly Father, forgive me for thinking that I can have enough of you in this 1 hour. Forgive me for thinking that if I just show up in this little moment, that's enough Jesus for the whole week. God, I pray that myself and everybody here can realize that if Jesus is a part of our entire lives become better. God, we love you so much. And in your name, amen.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How we doing? Everybody all right? Good? Good to be with you. Hey, I'm Dustin. If not met you yet, glad you are here. Last week, Jake kind of kicked off our discussion about things that we value around here in student ministry, and he talked about fun because we care about fun, and we think that following Jesus should be and is a lot of fun. Doesn't have to be boring. Tonight, I want to talk with you about the necessity of the group. I want to talk with you about the necessity of the group. And, I don't think I need a lot of time to convince you that groups are important because, for the most part, we kind of gravitate naturally towards them, don't we? At school, you like group projects because likely someone might be smarter than you or do more of the work, or you like the co-ed group projects for flirtation reasons. True story, I met my wife in a group project, and obviously that was successful, so go get them. We group me and group text, and we. How many of you guys play sports? You're on a team. You're kind of in some type of a group atmosphere like that. So you get it. You know that it's important. You know it's valuable, and intrinsically we kind of gravitate towards groups. Now, ladies, you know this, or most of you know this, that what happens when guys kind of gravitate towards a group, whether we do this on purpose or not, I don't know, but when guys get in a group, we kind of become really stupid. Girls, have you noticed this? I don't know why this is the case. Guys, we can't explain it either. It just seems to happen. We lose our minds when we get around other guys. It's kind of awesome, but it's just what it is. Like last week I was watching, there's a group of boys playing volleyball. They had no business playing volleyball. They were terrible at it. And after, they made one good play, and you would have thought they just won the championship. They just start going crazy. Let's go. Like classic high school boy losing his mind. Just when we get around each other, we have fun and energy, and sometimes this false sense of courage takes place too when we're around one another. It's the way guys work. Girls, you're a little different. You definitely aren't quite like that. You don't lose intelligence the way we do. But quite frankly, and guys, you can attest to this too, I think, that girls, when you're around one another, you're scary. There's something really scary about you, and I don't know what it is. There's sort of this intimidation factor and it could be like 3 of you. I don't know how, it doesn't have to be a whole gaggle of you. I mean, it could be like 3 or 4 of you, but you get around one another and you mobilize and you move together as one unit, and you go from place to place together, and nails come out if we give you a bad look, and you travel to the bathroom together. My theory in the bathroom antics is that you're in there strategizing. Like there's a plan about something. I don't know what you're strategizing. When I was in college, the group that I was around, my buddies, we were celebrating a friend who's about to get married, and we wanted to honor this guy. He's about to have an awesome wedding, and we wanted to kind of send him off and appreciate him. And so we had a bachelor party. There's about 15 dudes, and we tackled him, we took him to the ground, we stripped him of all his clothes except for his underwear because we're not weirdos, and then we duct tape his hands and feet together, and we throw him in the back of my friend's Jeep Cherokee. We drive down the road to the closest sorority house we could find, and if you don't know what a sorority house is, it's like this house, it's like a gang for girls, and they all live there together, and that's all I know. So we take this friend and we drop him off at the doorstep of this sorority with no clothes on, and we ring the doorbell and we run. And that's what guys do too. That's what happens. All I remember was as we were running away, my friend said, "Don't do this." And someone shouted back, "We just did that." And we took off. When we get around our groups, when we get around our friends, most of us know there's just this thing that happens, and it's almost like it's by design, that there's value in being a part of a group. But I want to talk with you about one of the massive mistakes that Christians often make when it comes to being a part of a group. And if you're not a Christian, you're here and you're visiting, and at some point in time, maybe you consider following after Jesus, this information will actually be really helpful for you. But for everybody in here that considers themselves a Christian, there's this mistake that I've personally witnessed probably thousands of times, where something goes on in our mind that we actually believe that we can follow Jesus outside of the group. That we can follow, put our hope in and trust in Jesus, but we can do that outside of the group. There's a statement, a really important statement I want you to listen to. I'll put it up on the screens because I think it's really important. It says that we can believe alone. We can believe alone, but we have to follow in the group. We believe alone in the sense that no one can believe for you, right? You have a relationship with Jesus, and no one can have faith for you. But you can only follow Jesus in a group. When Jesus was put on the cross, and when he died and was buried, and then when he was resurrected, he kind of set this mission in play. And from that point on, it's basically the entirety of the New Testament. Anything after the Gospels is Jesus' mission. And his game plan was this. He was going to take a busted up group of nobodies, Christians, just average believers, and he was going to use this group of people to go out and spread his mission of love and forgiveness. And that was his plan. That's plan A. There's no plan B. So Jesus, all along, his goal for every single believer is to stay connected to other believers. That's what he has in mind. But man, that doesn't seem to be all that easy. And for some reason, and I don't know why we do this, we at times think that we can follow Jesus and we don't need one another. So Jesus prayed this really specific prayer. It's in John chapter 17, and we actually don't have a lot of specific prayers from Jesus in the New Testament. There's a handful of them. We have examples of him praying, but we don't always know what he was saying. And so in John chapter 17, we have an example of what Jesus was praying, and I'll read this with you. Chapter 17, verse 20, he says, "My prayer is not for them alone." He's talking about the disciples as he was praying for them. He said, "I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message," that's us, "that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I'm in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I and them and you and me. So that," listen to this, "so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know that you sent me and have loved them, even as you have loved me." If I could summarize what I think Jesus was describing in this prayer, it's that believers would lock arms. The believers would lock arms. That they'd stay committed to one another. Not committed to a program, not committed to a service on Sunday nights, not committed to a place, just a location, but committed to people. That's the design, is that we stay committed to people, to believers, and together we follow after Jesus. The word that was used in the New Testament's ecclesia. It's a gathering of people. We say church, but what Jesus meant and what was used was the gathering of people, a group of people. That's us. And Jesus' prayer is that we would stick together and that we'd lock arms. And you've seen this, I'm sure, in images where you see athletes as they get ready to take the field or the court. They kind of get ready for battle in that regard. And you see these athletes and they lock arms with one another, right? You've seen that? Got Cardinals, got Suns, and I'm so stinking excited about the Suns, I can't even tell you right now. But you see these athletes, they lock arms because they know the importance of doing that with one another before they get into battle. And I wanted to invite a friend to come and share with you the idea behind locking arms. And this guy has some authority on the topic, and he's got some insight that's worthy to share with you when it comes to locking arms. His name's Jake Roberts. We're gonna zoom him in. He's coming at us from San Diego. And Jake has a unique situation because he works for the U.S. Navy. He's a Navy SEAL commander. And if you don't know who the Navy SEALs are, shoot, like Google that real quick. It would be the most elite military force the United States has. There's some bad dudes. And so we asked Jake to come and share with us, with the students, about what it means to lock arms and how important that is. And so, hey, let's make a little bit of noise. Welcome Jake, if you would. Hey, bro.
Dustin, how we doing, my man?
I'm good. Everybody hear him? Everybody all right? Cool. Hey, I wanted to say this, and I felt like this is the time to say it because everyone's here and they're listening to it. When I first met you, and we're kind of new friends, when I first met you, and I knew that you were gonna, Navy SEAL guy, I thought you'd be bigger. Do you get that at times? Am I the first one that ever told you that I thought you'd be bigger?
Nope.
Okay.
I've said it to myself several times too.
Yeah. And what I thought too is this is the perfect time to say that because you're not here and you can't hurt me. You know?
Yeah.
I
can make myself bigger on the screen too.
I also appreciate your outfit choice too, man. We got something going on there. We're like in step with each other. Black shirt. Hey, so we talked about surf. We talked about surf torture. Students probably don't know what surf torture is, but now they're curious because it sounds awesome. And we talked about how locking arms and surf torture kind of go with one another. Can you explain to students what surf torture is and some of your perspective on locking arms?
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Dustin. Compliments to the barber too, my man.
Hey, all right.
Hey, everybody, it is awesome to be with you guys. What an opportunity for me to just share a little bit of my story of surf torture, and certainly in light of Jesus Christ. So, if you can notice my background here, I picked it out special for y'all tonight. It's Coronado, California. Not sure if you've ever been there before, but if you're standing on the beach near the Hotel del Coronado and you look south, that's where SEAL training is. That's where we take boys, we turn them into men, and then we take the men and we turn them into warriors that protect our nation. One of the things that we do to select the haves and the have-nots, I guess you could say, is surf torture. And when I was talking to Dustin about surf torture, and he introduced this concept of locking arms to me, that's the last time I remember actually physically locking arms with other human beings. So what they do, the instructors will line you up, and usually they like to do it before, as the sun's going down, to make sure it's extra scary, extra cold, all that sort of stuff. They line you up, and at that time, I remember a good buddy of mine would beckon out to me, Jake, I'm over here, buddy, come get me. And what you might not know is that he was, we'll say, the most insulated man out of the class, and which was good for me because I was at the time certainly the least insulated guy in the class. So we would lock arms. They'd line you up. Once they felt that the instructors felt like you were in a straight line, they would say forward march. Boom, one foot in front of the other. You're just marching to the zone, the surf zone. Slowly but surely, you get out there. You get to knee deep. And for guys like me, mid-thigh is kind of where it came up to on me. Then they tell you to about face. About face, you turn around, you lock back arms with your mate on your left and the mate on your right. And then they tell you to take seats. And meanwhile, the whole objective here The training objective, and it's arbitrary, it's to try to stay in a straight line, right? That's pretty much impossible, but hey, that's what they're trying to do. So you sit down, you take seats, and you're like, okay, your chest's out, you're kind of breathing, you're like, okay, this ain't that bad. I think I could do this. And we're actually kind of staying in a straight line. Cool. Then they say, backs, and you get on your back, same objective, but now you got water coming all over you, in your nose, in your ears, in your mouth. You're trying to breathe. And every time someone comes up for air or to try to see what's going on, they can't handle it, the instructors are right on you, telling you to get back down, telling you that you're never going to make it through this training like this, that you're never going to be good enough, that you're never going to be able to get out of the ocean this evening. So you go back down. I can remember spending hours out there just freezing, becoming a little popsicle. But, you know, the things that it actually teaches you, the reason why they have you do this, the reason why you lock arms, 3 things I'll leave you with. Teamwork, right? Heard some talk about some athletic teams earlier. Teamwork makes the dream work. Can't do it alone. Humility. You want to come up for air. You want to see what's going on. It's not comfortable. You're weathering a storm. But the more you think about yourself, the worse it is on your mates. The longer you're going to spend in there. And it teaches you to focus. You got to aim small to miss small. Think small. Don't worry about what's going on around there in the world. The things that you can't control external to your environment. You got someone on the right of you. You got someone on the left. And that's got to be good enough sometimes. And just when you think it's all done, because they told you to stand up, get back in a straight line, then you hear, take seats, get on your backs, and over and over and over. But everything does come to an end. I'm here. Everybody, you know, SEALs make it through buzz training, believe it or not, and they're human beings just like anybody else, putting on their pants one leg at a time. But that's a recipe for getting through tough times, right? Is locking arms. It's a recipe for getting through SEAL training. It's a recipe for leading in combat. It's a recipe for everybody in that room, everybody on Zoom tonight, to get through life's storms, any storm. So like you were saying, man, it's about those groups and choosing what group you want to be a part of. And it's been a blessing for me to be a part of one of the most elite groups in our country.
Thank you. You know, we're talking right now about, specifically, you've been listening in tonight. We're talking about how important it is that believers don't just try to go out and believe on their own, but that they stay committed to one another, that the church is simply a group of people that are choosing to follow Jesus with one another. Can you, from your vantage point, you're a Navy SEAL, but more importantly, you're a committed, dedicated follower of Jesus. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about, just from your perspective, sharing with students how important it is to just continue to lock arms with one another when it comes to faith?
Yeah, so, you know, I'm not going to get totally into my personal story, but there's definitely times where I didn't do that with other believers, and that's where I was straying. It's so important to have that accountability. It's so important to make sure, you know, the Bible talks about choosing to walk with the wise versus choosing to walk with the foolish. And there's really only one thing that follows foolishness, and that's harm. And boy, all of us in this room have felt that to one degree or another. And so it is totally important to make sure that you choose that group that understands that you get your value from the cross. That's what you ought to be looking at. Not what's on, you know, your cell phone or whatever else you got going on, your Twitter, your Instagram, what's going on at school that day. But that when Jesus died on the cross, that veil was torn for us to have a relationship with our Father. And just like you said, Dustin, I mean, that's where the affirmation needs to be. And that's something that has been really important as I've learned to walk with him. Like you said, the I and them and you and me. So powerful.
That's great. Jake, we greatly appreciate your time. We appreciate your service. Thanks for being a stud. Students are clapping for you. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. We'll see you later.
All right.
Hey, practically speaking, students, how do we lock arms? How do we lock arms? What can we do? What are the things that actually make up locking arms? We lock arms when we reach out, when we're texting and calling and following up with people that need you. We're locking arms, right? When friends are going through hard times, when there's a disaster in their family, in their life, when there's discouragement and you're calling and you're checking in on them, that's how you lock arms with people, right? When you know that there's someone out there that's just hurting, what do? You go out and you do something about it. You lock arms when you pray with one another. You lock arms when you read the word with each other, when you do a Bible reading plan or something. That's like locking arms. You're locking arms when you show up to church consistently. Thank you for being here. When you show up to church consistently, it's like this reinforcement. And you look around and you're just reminded it's important. We're still in this. We're still here. It's not easy. It's not easy to follow, but you're in it. You show up consistently. You know, you lock arms when you serve people on the outside of the church, but in the church as well. I was talking to our lead pastor, Ashley, this week, and he was telling me that he was looking at some data, and he said, did you know that the group of people that serve the most in our church by percentage are high school students? Did you know that? Did you know that you serve more than anybody else serves in our entire church? Yes. I love that. I love that. I'm so thankful for our high school students, and I'm thankful for you that you serve. But how you also lock arms is that you know that there's people that don't know Jesus that are in your life. People in your neighborhood, on your teams, and friends. And how you lock arms is you invite them to be a part of what you're part of. And when people come here, you welcome them. You make them feel a part of your specific group. I met this girl named Haley, and when she was 15 years old, she decided that she was gonna take her own life. And she didn't have a plan, she didn't know when, she just knew at some point in time, her life would end and it would be at her own hands. So she was on the swim team, dive team, and there were some Christian girls that were on that team with her. And one summer, they invited her to come to camp. Go camp. She decided, all right, I'll go to camp. Don't know what camp means, but I'll go to camp. And she said that she knew she was gonna go to camp, but as soon as she was back from camp, she'd start working on what her plan would look like to take her life. And she went to camp, and she heard about Jesus, and her friends and her group surrounded her and loved her. And now she dedicates everything that she has, her entire life, to Jesus and to young people, all because some friends cared and locked arms. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to stand up on all campuses, wherever you're at. I want you to stand up. And you're already starting to do it because you know it's coming. I'd like you to lock arms with your group. I'd like you to lock arms with the people that are around you. I know this is like the one day you're like, I forgot deodorant today. It's all right, you're fine. Lock arms with your group. It'll be awkward for a minute, but it won't last forever. Hey, could you imagine? Could you imagine what it would be like if this group, this student ministry locked arms? We locked arms with people, and when they came here for the first time or the 15th time, we were welcoming, and we had this reputation that when people visited, we were warm and we cared. Could you imagine having that kind of reputation? Could you imagine if we were the type of student ministry that was known in the community around us that we really loved, like we loved God and we loved others and we did that together, if we had that kind of reputation at your school, in your neighborhood, on your team, could you imagine if 2 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, someone tells a story about you. You invited them. You welcomed them. You cared about them. You followed up with them. You knew their name. You loved them. Imagine what we could do if we locked arms as believers. Well, perhaps we could materialize what Jesus prayed in John 17, that we'd be one, we'd be unified. We can only do that when we lock arms together. Let's change the world together. Guys, let's lock arms. Let me pray for us. Father, thank you for our students. Thank you for your church. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for some people that cared about me and locked arms with me. Thank you for sending them. Thank you for the power of the cross. Thank you for giving us this mission. We don't deserve it. We're indebted to you. We're grateful. And God, we just want to change the world. Use us. Work through us. We love you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
All right. You're only as good as the people around you. You're only as good as the people around you. So make sure the people around you are people worth locking arms with. Make that happen. So a great way, a cool plug that you can do to make the group around you better this summer is we're offering a Wednesday night Bible study this summer. And so on Wednesday nights at this campus, it's a Bible study, and you can talk to your coach, you can talk to your student pastors. They're going to have more information about that. But that's an opt-in thing. We want you to show up to that. You're going to have to put some hard-earned cash down on a book that we're doing. $5. You can do it. Come on, you have this in you. But opt into that. Be better. Make the team around you better. Opt into that thing. Well, one more way to make your team better. If you are a graduating senior or about to be a senior, we have this senior retreat coming up at the end of July, and we would love for you to be at that. It's an awesome opportunity for us to, if you're a grad senior, really just love on you and send you out and encourage you to crush this next season of your life. And if you're a senior, hopefully set you up to make your senior year the best year ever. So appreciate all you guys. Make sure you get signed up for camp. Get out of here. Go be like Jesus. See you guys.